Okay, today's lesson is continuing from the surface area of a prism. Today we're going to do trapezoidal, prism, and a few other prisms. Okay, to do the trapezoidal prism, obviously we need to know the area of trapezium. Now, with all this prism, okay, just make sure you understand that it's a flat faces on the top and the bottom. Okay, so for example, if there is a prism with a rhombus on the top and the bottom, so you obviously have to use the area of rhombus. Okay, let's have a look at surface area. It's the total area of all the faces. Okay, and also surface area is related to solid 3D shapes. Now, before we start with the trapezoidal prisms and other prisms, this is a triangular prism here. Okay, now things that we need to be very careful about is the what kind of triangle we have. Now, the one that we have right here, this one, okay, is the scalene triangle. Okay, that means all three sides are different. So here we got 8, 6. That is the same as this one. So this is going to be 10 here. Okay, so as you can see, that's the triangle. All three sides are different, aren't they? They're not the same. So when we have all three sides different, triangle, scalene triangle, you've got to think about there will be three different rectangles, left and right, and the base, the bottom rectangles, all going to be different. One that we had looked at before, for example, isosceles triangle is the one that has two sides equal. Okay, two sides equal. Like here, this one has 3 and 3, and then on the bottom 8 here. Okay. Now, when we have isosceles triangle on the triangular prism, you will have two rectangles that is the same size. That means you can double to a rectangle here. Okay, so but when we have a scalene triangle, you can't double because they're all different. And the last one, there are 3 types of triangles. Last was equilateral triangle, which means all 3 sides are same. So for example, here, all sides are 5 units. Okay, that means all 3 rectangles, left and right, and the base rectangles are the same rectangle. So you can actually triple times by 3 if you want for this one. Instead of adding it 1 by 1 3 times, you can do that. Example, what we got here is the scalene triangle, which means my left and right and base rectangles that covers this triangular prism are different because they're all different sides. So the front and the back, which is the triangle, okay, that's the one. Front and the back, that's the front part, that's the back. They are the same triangle, so I can double that. If I can find just one area, the front or the back doesn't really matter, just find the one area and I can actually double that area, will cover both triangles. Okay, now here is my right rectangle, which is this one. So that has 15 as my base and my height is 10. That's my right hand side rectangle. And then my left, which is this one, you can't really see this part. Okay, so this rectangle has a base of 15, right? Because you can see that's 15 here. So that's 15. So that's my base, 15 here. And my height is 8 here. Okay, that's this one. Now the last one is my base. My base rectangle is the on the bottom here, this one. Okay, base is 6 here, and my height is 15. So as you can see, all three rectangles are different sizes. This triangular prism has 5 faces. Second step is what I would like to call as the shapes and the formulas. So you decide which shape they are and then think about the formulas of that. And then step 3 is the finding a surface area. Triangle, the 2 of them, because it's the front and the back, so I'll put double, so 2 there. Now this is actually a formula triangle. Half times base times height, isn't it? The base is 6 and the height is 8. Now it doesn't really matter if you choose the 8 as your base and the 6 as your height. It doesn't really matter because when you times it, it's all the same. Like 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is also 6. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's my front and the back, the triangles. Now I'm doing my right-hand side rectangle, which is the B shape, which is 15 times 10, like base times height. The C, which I would like to call as my left-hand side of the rectangle, is the this one, which is the so I've done that. And then my base rectangle is this one, shape D, and that's 6 times 15. Now put all that in your calculator, you will get 408 square meters. Let's have a look at the example 12. Now calculate the surface area of this trapezoidal prism, that's what we call it. Okay, that just means the front and the back, or the top and the bottom if you want, faces trapezium. Now how many faces does this trapezoidal prism has? Now this is a net. This is the diagram that when you open it up, the prism, that's what it looks like. Okay, so when I open this trapezoidal prism, it will look like this. So how many faces we have? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So think of it as a box. Okay, basically like a cube and rectangular prism and now trapezoidal prism, they're all like box. So it's 6 faces except for triangular prism. Triangular prism is like sort of less sides of shape, isn't it? So it's only 5. Okay, because there's a 1 and like 2 faces, the top and the bottom, and then whatever it's surrounding the triangle is only 3 faces, so it's going to be 5. Okay, so that would be my answer, 6 here. Let's have a look at how we're going to find the surface area for this. Now I actually draw the inside faces so you can see, like, see through. But normally in the exam, you will have a prism diagram like this. So you probably can't see through, if you know what I mean. So I want you to picture this in your head, if you can't draw it, that it looks like this. Okay, in your head, think of it like this. We got 6 faces. That's our first step. Second step is the shapes and formulas. So I'm going to just write it here, front and the back, and they are trapezium. Okay, so what is a formula for trapezium, guys? It's something to do with the triangle, isn't it? Because it looks like if I sort of sketched it a little bit further up, it's going to be half times, there are two bases on the trapezium. So A plus B, the top base and the bottom base, times the height. That's what you got to do. Okay? But important thing here, when you draw something like that, I want you to think about as it's times by 2 because it's a front and the back. Okay, so that will be my favorite mistake that a lot of people will make, including myself. So make sure you double it because we are dealing with the front and the back. Put the numbers in. Let me see my A, my B, my height for trapezium here. So that's a 10, and that has to be 10 as well, the same. Okay, and if this is 13, that has to be 13. And this is 18, that at the back here is also 18. And this is 24 as well. The front and the back the same. Okay, so I think it's a good idea putting the measurements in there on the diagram so you will remember. Now, when I'm looking at the trapezium, the top base is 10, the bottom base is 24. In between top and the bottom are my height. Is my height in there is 12. Okay, I'm going to go area equals half times A plus B. The top base and the bottom base, I'm going to add them up and then times by height, which is 12. Now, don't forget the doubling it because we want front and the back. So when you double it, you will get 408 centimeters squared. So I've got 408 for front and the back trapeziums. Now my right hand side rectangle. Just going to draw the picture there. It'll be my base is 18, my height is 13. So that's my base, my height here. Okay, there's only one of them. So area will be 13 times 18, which is 234 centimeters square or square centimeters. And then my left, which is on this side, I'm just going to draw the rectangle here. So my base of the rectangle, the left-hand side, is 18, the same base as my right. And the height is the one that is different. The height is 15. So I'm going to put 15 here. So my area is base times height, which is 18 times 15. That will give me 270 centimeters squared. Okay, squared centimeters. Okay, now I have top. Now, top and the bottom are not the same because it's getting smaller, isn't it? So the top face is much smaller than my bottom face. So top one, my measurement, top one, it's 10 here. And remember this 18 here, that line is same as this 18. So I have 10 and 18. So my area is 18 times 10, which is 180 square centimeters. Okay. Now, next one, my base, my bottom face, which is the bottom here. If I sketch that, it'll be 24 on the front. On the side is 18. So my area for the bottom face rectangle is 24 times 18, which is 432 square centimeters. 6 faces, right? So let's check. We got 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 faces. Now I can add it all up for surface area. So it'd be 408 plus 234 plus 270 plus 180 plus 432. So when you add them all up, you will get 1,524 square centimeters. Part B. This one's like almost like a rectangular prism, but it's a tilted. Okay. Now we have what kind of top and the bottom this one has, or front and the back, if you like. This shape is rhombus. Okay, how do I know it's a rhombus? Because the four sides are equal. It's like a square, but it's tilted, so it's a rhombus. So I'm just going to write here rhombus. And how many faces does this rhombus, how do we call it? Rhombicular prism. Let's think about this. This is like a cube or rectangular prism, so it'll have a 6. Okay, rhombus has a 4 sides equal. That means all the surrounding around the rhombus, the rectangles are the same. If I draw the rectangle here, this is the side here is a 52, so all of this size is 52. Okay, so it's a 52 here, and my length is 75. They're all 75. 75 all the way through that 75. So I have 4 exactly same sized rectangles all around this rhombus. Okay, and we have front and the back rhombus the same. Okay, so there are 2 types of shapes here, rhombus and rectangle. Step 1 was how many faces. Step 2 is the shapes and formulas. The front and the back is my rhombus. There are 2 of them, right? And the area for rhombus, do you remember area for rhombus? Is something to do with triangle. So it's going to be half, isn't it? Can you see all the triangles on the rhombus? And it's times by x and y, which is my diagonals. Please memorize this. Then I'll have to double it. So let's have a look at the diagonals. So here, x and y, that's my diagonals. So I can see the horizontal diagonal, and this is a vertical diagonal. Okay, so I'm going to call my vertical one as my y and horizontal as my x. Okay, so let's have a look. My horizontal diagonal says it's each little part is 48, so I want the whole length, so I got to do 48 plus 48. Okay, which will give me 96. My vertical one gives me 20 here and 20 here. So it'll be 20 plus 20, which is 40. So I'm going to go back to my equation here, the formula. So I'm going to put half times my x is the 96. My y is 40, but I'll have to double because I've got 2 of them. I will have, because it wasn't given to us that it was centimeters or meters or millimeters, so it's a 3,840 square units. Now I'm going to know that my left, my right, my top, and my bottom, they are rectangles, and I have 4 of them because they're all the same. Area for that is base times height, and I have my base 75, my height 52, but also it can be the other way around, and times by 4. I have 15,600 square units. But now I have to put it all together to have step 3, surface area equals, I'm going to have to add the front and the back, 3,840, plus all around rectangle, 15,600. When you put it together, It's 19,440 square units. Part C. Now, this is it's a little bit different type of question. It gave us the net first. So this is the net. And then asking us, name the prism. So we know this one, the front and the back, the face we got here is trapezium, right? This is trapezium. So it has to be trapezoidal prism. But if you look at, this is a normal trapezoidal prism here. And something is missing here, isn't it? Right? If you look at this, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. But this one here, what we got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So only got 5 faces. What does that mean? If you folded up this trapezoidal prism, the top bit is open. It's missing. Okay, so I could just write a trapezoidal prism, but I think if it more detail, I would say open trapezoidal prism. So I will just put open here, trapezoidal prism. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. You can just write a trapezoidal prism, that's correct. And if you write an open trapezoidal prism, that's also correct. Now, second, now we have to find surface area. Okay, first step is how many faces this one has. This one has 5. Be careful. This one doesn't have a 6. This one has 5 because top face is missing. Now, step 2, I will go shapes and formulas. First, I have a front and the back, okay, which is trapezium. I need to double it because there are 2 of them. The formula for that is, of course, we need to have half because there's something looks like a triangle times A plus B, the 2 bases, top base and the bottom base, and the times by height, and of course double it. So let's have a look at my top and the bottom bases and the height. So I'm looking at, right now I'm looking at this. So my A, the top base is 13. I'm looking at this. My bottom base is 30, and my height is the one that on the between 2 bases is 24 because the 24 is the perpendicular to both bases. Now I'm going to put that in. It'll be half times the top base plus the bottom base times the height and double it. I will get 1,032 square units. Now next, I'm going to have a look at my right. I'm going to call this is my right. That's my base. That's my left. Okay. Now, before I do that, I would like to put all the numbers that given here. So that's 25, and that has to be 25 as well, and that has to be 25, and that's about it. And then this here is 26. Okay, so that's 26. That's 26. And also this one is 66. That has to be 66. And also in the middle, they are same, isn't it? 66, 66. All the necessary measurements will be really good if you can put that in before doing your calculation. Okay, so I'm looking at my right hand side rectangle here. So the area for that right hand side rectangle is base times height. So all I need is 2 numbers. Doesn't really matter which one comes first. 25 times 66 So that would be 1,650 square unit. My left, I'm going to go with this one. My left is, again, I just need two numbers. Area is 26 times 66, which is 1,716 square units. And then my base is here. Okay, so my base is that, and I will go, area is 66 times 30, okay, is 1,980 square units. All these ones are my areas to add up. Step 3, surface area. The first was the front and the back, 1,032, plus my right, 1,650, and my left, 1,716, and my base, 1,980. If I add it all together, I will get 6,378 square units. Okay, that's all we got. Okay, so that was interesting. Okay, that's all for today's lesson. Well done, people.